Hey everyone, this is Josh from Visto.ai back for another episode of Talent Tips. I'm really happy to be joined by Suraiya Kara. Suraiya, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Hi, Josh. Thanks so much for having me.
Our pleasure, really excited to get into it. Can you just start by giving everybody a quick background, a little bit about yourself and where you're working right now?
Yeah, of course. So I currently work for a prominent startup in the Toronto space called Inkbox Inc., and I'm their HR manager. So I oversee the entire HR function in collaboration with the rest of our HR team. I'm also a nationally certified psychological health and safety advisor for workplaces, in addition to a nationally certified mental health first aid trainer. So my background stems from social work. So I really view the entire HR function as it relates to people with a holistic lens and focus.
Very cool. And I'm interested to see how that perspective kind of affects the next question, which is our favorite. Can you give 3 tips to aspiring immigrants who are hoping to land their first job in Canada?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's such a great question. I think first and foremost, review your resume for clarity. You want to make the most impact without overwhelming your reader. I also like to note for, aspiring immigrants that a typo here and there is really not a deal breaker, but do your best to proofread for any spelling or grammatical errors. Also, it's not necessary to add like your nationality, ethnicity, gender, marital status, or anything on your resume. And I note that because I've seen some resumes coming from, overseas candidates that have that information. So it's not necessary for any role that you're applying for in Canada. And I always like to just kind of follow up to note that if you're interviewing, with any company in Canada, it's against the law to be asked like any questions around your gender, your sexual orientation, marital status, or any sort of like mental or physical disabilities or religion in any job interview. It's always like something good to just kind of remind our, overseas applicants about.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's so many little nuanced differences that
Mhm.
sometimes you can get lost, as well as doing everything else that comes with applying for a job. So definitely helpful to point that out.
Totally, yeah. And then I would say for, another tip, I actually say this a lot, and I think it's really quite applicable to any candidate, perhaps, but perhaps even more so for an aspiring immigrant. There's literally no one on this planet who has the same combination of skills, education, and like wisdom gained from life experience. So I would really encourage, aspiring immigrants to really know that, embrace it, and, use it to your advantage because there's so much from a cultural perspective that aspiring immigrants are bringing to Canadian workplaces. And that's like really, really cool. And that's something that really should be embraced. So definitely be proud of it, share it. And I always say, like, the best workplaces are the ones who acknowledge that there are differences in society and like really strive to provide equity for their people. So, yeah, definitely own it.
For sure. And
Yeah,
and the companies that embrace it, right? Because the benefits of diversity for companies have been proven time and again. So
absolutely.
it should come
Yeah.
from both sides.
Totally. And then I think for my final tip, and I think this is like really quite critical regardless of the role that you're applying for or the seniority level, it's just really important to develop your emotional intelligence just as much as your technical skill set. So, like the most progressive companies are looking for well-rounded talent and looking at candidates with their potential future in mind. I know like when we're looking for candidates and interviewing, we're hiring just as much for tomorrow as we are for today. And so we're looking for potential like leadership qualities in our can across the board. So especially if you're applying for a leadership role, like take some time to evaluate your emotional intelligence, your empathy, your ability to relate with others and build rapport, and the ability to lead teams with empathy and genuine consideration, and the ability to like motivate using a strength-based perspective whilst also driving company objectives. So, and I don't think that's something that a lot of people touch on, especially in this day and age and moving forward. Emotional intelligence and the development of that is really, really critical and is undeniably a very significant addition to, anyone's wheelhouse, personally or professionally.
Absolutely. That's a great last tip to end on. Saray, are there any roles you're currently hiring for that you wanted to kind of promote?
Yeah, oh gosh, so many. We're always hiring. Yeah, so we're hiring for a purchaser role. So that's within our supply chain function. We're also looking for an optimization manager. We have a few marketing roles, so marketing operations specialist, someone in performance marketing. We're always looking for fulfillment coordinators, and this is a really great job for, whether you're a born and raised Canadian applicant or someone from, the overseas area, just to kind of get your foot in the door. So our fulfillment coordinators are the individuals that actually work in our manufacturing side and work on the line. And it's a really great way to kind of get familiar with the Toronto area, get your foot in the door. And then, of course, we have a few other corporate roles that we're looking for. So a creative marketing director, as well as a digital advertising designer as well.
Awesome. I will make sure to link to the careers page in the description as well because it sounds like there's a lot going on and a lot of great
Yeah.
opportunities. Lastly, anybody in the Canadian recruitment HR talent space that you'd love to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I would love to give a shout out to Tara Ibrahimi Lopez. So she works at Company 3. First of all, it's such a super cool company. It's a post-production company, so they work with a lot of videos and movies, and it's just like super cool. And she's the manager of talent acquisition for all of North America, and she loves what she does. So really, she oversees the entire talent function, whether it's corporate or non-corporate roles or creative roles. And all in all, she's just like definitely a great person to connect with and have a conversation with. She's really, down to earth and really loves what she does. And it's really great to have conversations with people like that.
Cool. I'm gonna have to reach out. Sounds
Yeah.
great. Suraiya, this has been really awesome. We appreciate you coming on and sharing your tips. If anybody wants to get in touch or learn more about the company, where do you recommend they?
I'm an avid LinkedIn user, really believe in the power of like connection over LinkedIn. So yeah, please connect with me on LinkedIn, drop me a line, say hello. Always happy to help in any way I can. It might take me a couple days to reach back out to you, so just note that. But yeah, happy to connect over LinkedIn at any time.
Awesome. We'll link to that in the description as well. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And of course, if you're interested in doing some foreign recruitment as a Canadian company, make sure to check us out at visto.ai, or if you're interested in coming to Canada as a foreign skilled worker as well. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.